So, sun is shining. So, we do know it's the summer term. Let's hope it's not raining when this goes out. Anyway, it's summer term 24, episode 3. We are the Teacher Squad podcast. It's me, Jane Considine, with my gorgeous Teachly friend, Heather Wright.
I love that intro, Jane. On this episode, I am going to be thinking about hardworking teachers hopping about like frogs.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a bit of hopping as well, but it's more like hoping, a bit of high hoping is what I'm going to be thinking about. How, no matter how tough it gets, and it is getting a bit tough, we've got to have high hopes.
I think there's a few songs in there. You're tempting me to sing, Jane, but I'm not going to go there. We're also going to find out this episode who is afraid of the dark.
And I'm thinking about mums, dads, families, and anybody out there who is about to embark on exam season of GCSEs and A-levels. You know, are you okay? Are they okay? Are we going to be okay? Oh,
We're
dear.
all going to be okay, Jane. Shall we
Great.
get cracking?
Yeah, let's get cracking.
Shall we start this
honey.
episode, Jane?
Yeah, let's start. Hey, I've missed you. We're at practice, aren't we? How are you, honey bunch?
I am all good, and I'm glad that a bit of clever lighting is making my face look slightly better today because the sun has shone and I've gone woohoo and sat outside and I'm a bit pink. But thank you to Ian, our producer. If you are just listening and not watching, my red forehead has been made look a little bit better. But are you good, Jane?
Yeah, I'm really good. We never normally record on a Saturday sort of afternoon stroke evening. And Heather, I am a little bit inebriated. I've had a couple of G&Ts. I've been at the Rugby Premiership watching Saints slam Tigers. You know, if we've got some Tiger fans, I am so sorry, but I'm delighted. We won Saints 40-17. So I just watch me because I get too excited. But yeah, I'm good.
I think I like this, Jane. I like excited Jane. It could go anywhere. And you were so well behaved on the previous Ofsted subject report and the documentary episode that, you know, anything could happen. Anything could happen. Can I tell the listeners about an email we've had, Jane? I cannot say that the inbox has been inundated, but we are ever grateful for the steady trickle of support. And this email has come from Claire all the way in northern Thailand. How exciting is that? And she says, "Dear Heather and Jane, as an overseas top fan and listener, I wanted to reach out and share my gratitude to you both. Apparently, we mentioned her way back in episode 3 with her lesson derailer Python story. We remember that. But yeah, she's a big fan of you, Jane. She is a very big fan.
Yeah, I mean, we were worried about the wind derailing, you know, all sorts of wind, and we were worried about wasps, but it seems that, you know, big snakes are going to trump everything. You know what I mean? Of course.
Wind, Trump, where are we going with this? Anyway, she says she's a huge fan of the right stuff. And she sent a clip of the podcast to her colleague in Laos. And a colleague said to her, most girls fangirl over pop stars, but you fangirl over an English consultant. But that's why you're such a passionate English teachers. And we love our passionate teacher followers, don't we, Jane?
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. Hey, do you know, it's not just coming from, we've had a lovely message. Well, I had a message from Matt Torrado who said he loved our Ofsted podcast and we were right on the money with some of our deconstruction around that. And we've had Jamie_primary on X who's just sent us a big fat love. I mean, I can do that. I like that. So, do you know what? the listenership is growing. And I've had to send out a couple of badges for top listeners. It's exciting stuff, Heather.
Certainly is. Certainly is. Can I tell you what I'm grateful for this week,
Yes.
Jane?
Yeah.
So, in the
Please.
Ofsted episode, I read to you We Are the Wibbly with the playful grammar.
Yeah.
And at the time of recording, I am partway through an epic schools book tour with author Sarah Taghome with this book. And you know what I'm just grateful for? We've been in about 11 schools so far this week,
Wow.
but we've had about 16 or more different schools joining, over 2,000 pupils in front of us. And every single session, it's just been an absolute joy to just see wonderful, hardworking teachers just making learning and being part of education fun for their pupils, joining in with frog hopping and drawing and just adapting things as they went along so that everybody could be part of it. So I am grateful for our wonderful, fun, hardworking profession.
Yeah, and actually, just aren't we just flexible beasts? I mean, the amount of flexibility I've had to kind of work with this week. I've been in Swindon, and just how people just help you out when technology's not working,
Yes.
when we can't find the blue tack, and just that we don't even need words amongst ourselves, do we?
Absolutely.
Just when kids are struggling in a certain learning situation and we need a bit of adult support, I love that there's just this broader collegiate sense that we're in
Mm,
it together. We're here
yeah.
for the kids and we're going to make it work. And it
Yeah.
is just gorge.
Scourging it,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
and some of the schools, and quite a lot of the schools, sadly, in the foyers, but wonderfully in the foyers, I've seen lots of pre-loved uniform rails,
Mm,
and food bank boxes, schools, serving the community
yeah.
in a wonderful way as well. And when
Yeah.
you mention technology, there's trickiness with technology, and I tell you what the problem with that is: funding. And it's
Mm,
seeing it,
yeah.
making a awkward, awful impact.
Yeah.
Um, but teachers just doing good stuff and making the best of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And well, it's a bit of a nightmare when I work with technology because I walk in with an Apple Mac trying to link it up to a Promethean
Oh,
board. You might as well put a gun to your bloody head, I tell you what. But going back to the the uniform rails, I mean, we now have data thanks to the TES not just actually showing us on a plate that we are the fourth emergency service. We are doing more work as a profession to support our communities than the government is, and that's just like, oh, we need to have a little think about that, don't we? But we don't want to
yeah.
get too angry because I'm trying to be positive, and I just wanted to tell you that I'm grateful that my sister has bigger feet than me because, and I'll tell you
Where are we
why.
going with this, Jane?
I'll tell you where I'm going. I went to a wonderful primary school called Even Swindon, and I was staying as per in a salubrious pink tinge. You now have it on the headboard, Premier Inn, and got sort of in a little bit settled. It's 9:50. Unpacked my bag. I have forgotten my shoes. Now,
Oh,
where I'm located, there's not a 24-hour Asda or anything like that, but it shuts at 10. So I get in my car and race down to George. Please help me. I can't work. There's some jobs you can do with trainers on, and there's just some jobs you need shoes. And I needed shoes. And walked in and black. I can't really do a flat, and I was trying to just find. I don't mind what heel they are. I just need them to be black with a bit of a heel. And the only thing they had was a 7.5 pixie boot, and I'm size 6. So like,
okay.
what? So I buy them, but they are suedette, very pointy. They'd be a long shoe anyway. Let me say that.
Okay.
And now they're 7.5 on my size 6. They don't fit me, Heather. Like, they
No.
just don't fit me. So I buy them. I'm desperate. And I just feel like a clown, very self-conscious the next day. I've got teachers filming me while I work. I'm literally tripping over my own feet. And and I just thought, I haven't spoken to Heather for ages because you always remind me how I've got to practice hope, being more grateful. I was just like, this was the tipping point. I was like,
Okay.
felt really sorry for myself. I do actually suffer from quite poor resilience, very kind of worries me. I revert back very quickly when I don't practice. And, you know, we know hope is helpful, not harmful, but my shoes could quite literally be causing me a great amount of harm here. It was so dangerous. And, and I just it was all in that moment, of kind of teaching, and, when you just, teaching and it's not your fault, but there's a lot of tears, kids are not having a good time, there's just, like, a lot of kids having a bad day, and, I just felt very like, "Oh, yeah," I don't feel very high hoping either, um, and it kind of it just reminded me that actually um, sometimes it doesn't take much, does it, to kind of tip you over? And that's for kids as well. It doesn't take
Yeah.
much. Just me, some being different with stupid shoes. I'm sure that tipped many of them over the edge. But how we've really got to kind of always trying to scaffold hopeful thinking.
Yeah.
Because hopeful thinking is going to get us there. Um, And I just feel really sorry at the moment for mums, dads, families, and actually kids. And I know this is out of our remit and our specialism, Heather, but particularly families of kids who are going through up and coming GCSEs
Mm.
and A levels because the pressure is cranking up. And I actually think um, as the pressure gets harder, just for some kids who, you know, exam anxiety kicks in,
Mhm.
or they feel like they want to opt out, or the fear of failure, so they don't want to try. That can be really misunderstood, and
Yeah.
the anxiety gets really hard. And if you're a parent trying to nurse someone or nurture them through this phase, hey, it's not easy. So trying to remember, no matter how tough it is, that as a parent, as a teacher, that we just show them that we believe, we have confidence in them, to kind of achieve their goals and do the best they can. But yeah, I think it's tough. It is tough. And a lot of schools stuff, since Michael Gove taking away a lot of the coursework. There is a little bit of coursework, but obviously
Mm.
the percentage of that is much more turned down. The pressure on actual having to perform in exams is just very, very tough for them, I think, you know.
Definitely. So
Mm.
what happened to these big shoes, Jane? Did
Oh,
they go to your
God.
did they go to your sister? Is that why you're grateful she had bigger
Yeah,
feet than you?
God. Thank God, because that's her foot size. Because just that thought of, one, I had to waste my money. Two, they nearly killed me and I was just tripping up all over the place. Three, I hated them anyway. I mean, that sounds bad, doesn't it? I'm gonna
Now it
palm them
sounds bad
shit.
that you've given them
I'm
to
gonna
your
palm them off
sister.
on my sister. Don't like them. They're rubbish. You have them.
Does
So
she
yeah,
like them?
she doesn't. She's not. We've not done that exchange yet. She's got
Oh,
that to
okay.
look forward to.
She's gonna to have a gratitude moment and smile through it. So
She's gonna
yeah,
have to
Jane, I'm
pretend she
really
likes them
grateful.
anyway. Oh
Did you
God,
stuff them? Did you like put a bit of toilet roll down
no.
the toes?
I
That
should
that
have
would have
done
stopped them
that.
flapping about like a clown shoe.
I know. If I wasn't rattling around, rushing around that school worrying about technology and apples and Prometheans, I could have easily put a bit of bog roll in the front of them, but I didn't get that far. Sorry.
Next time you forget your
Thanks,
shoes,
honey.
because we're
Next
building a
time.
bit of a pattern here. You didn't lose any bags this time though,
No,
so
but that is a pattern of being really, really stressed. You know what I mean? Really stressed.
spinning a million and one plates.
I
Yeah,
know. I know.
education world. Can I take the clown shoes into my sentence of the week, Jane?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Of course. Take them. Have them, please. Goodness.
I've only got little feet. I've only got size 4. So if I'd have put size 7.5s on, I really would have been flapping about, wouldn't I?
Mm.
I'm teeny tiny, Jane, and I do
Oh.
flats. I'm 5'1" on a good day. I don't know whether
Oh.
everyone needs to know that, but yeah, tiddly
Yeah.
diddly. There we
Oh.
go. But my sentence is about small things, and it makes a nice little link to your clown shoes as well. It's the small things that matter. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the art of being a teacher, really. Each day you have an audience of 30-ish pupils in front of you.
Mm.
And yes, we are evidence informed practitioners and we know about pedagogy and about how children learn. But actually, when we put somebody in front of a group of people, and you have this when you are training big groups of teachers in front of you. And I've been thinking about it being on tour with Sarah Taghome, author, doing this amazing author event in front of the children and just picking up on the little nuance things that hold the engagement of the pupils. And I
Mm.
think it's good to remember that that thread that needs to run through our teaching of the element of performing. And that's why we're all so tired, because
Mm.
it's all of that emotional energy that goes into it as well. But little things like knowing when to wait for them and knowing when not to wait,
Yeah.
knowing when to change your volume, to go up, to go down, kind of using your voice dynamics, just those subtleties. And I
Yeah.
think when you're at the beginning of your career, you can see experienced teachers. And I think no matter where you're up to in your teaching career, going to watch other teachers deliver lessons is just one of the best forms of CPD that we can get, from just picking up on all aspects of it. But sometimes we can be a bit hard on ourselves and think, I can't hold them that way, or I can't use humour the way that you do. And we get into a moment of comparison. Watching other people's not about comparison. I think if you're not quite there in your career, just don't be so harsh on yourself and know that it takes a little bit of time and a bit of practice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And finding your groove is a
Yeah.
phrase I've written down.
Yeah.
Um, one of your phrases, James, that necklace of noticing. But
Yeah.
noticing is a good thing, isn't it? Giving our brain a bit of space, a bit of bandwidth for going, the kids were great when I did this. What was it that was great in that moment? Or what
Yeah.
was it that wasn't great in that moment? And give yourself time to build the confidence in that thread of delivery. Um,
Yes.
there's lots of comedians who are ex-teachers, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a thing to note, isn't it? One, because teachers are super clever and sharp, but
Yeah.
also because there's the art and the performance. So yeah, so if you're maybe early in your career, just give yourself a bit of time. If you're further on and you've forgotten about some of those things that you just do really naturally, do a bit of the noticing, and then any of those teachers that you're mentoring or working with, then it's easy for you to articulate how you engage that class. And we avoid those conversations like, well, they behave for me, or when I taught that lesson, it worked.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
awful.
comparison.
Yeah, that's awful. I hate
Um,
that. That is so oh passive aggressive, isn't it? It's just not the one. Um but I'm just going to say this to the listeners. For me, genuinely, two things that I personally love to do when I teach kids, and this when I fall on my face, which I do regularly when I teach kids. And that is mainly happens because of the not knowing about them in as much detail as the class teacher.
uh-huh.
Um, but there are other times when it's not about that. It doesn't quite work. The document called What Makes Great Teaching, which is a meta-analysis of, okay, the science of learning isn't going to solve everything, but it's best bets. I love that document. It's led by Professor Coe. It is analysis of all the science of learning around the world, and it's in bullet points and it's pithy. And I actually love to kind of connect with that document after a lesson hasn't worked and have a little chat to myself like, what didn't I do? Come on, Jane,
Yeah.
what didn't you do well? Because it's that part of that kind of hard thinking and the genuine professionalism of reflecting. The other thing that I think is so important, and we've talked about this before, is the eye contact and the
Oh,
smiling at children. We've just got to show them that we're there as a warm kind of human being, and it's kind of a back to basics. What often happens is, like, you're stressed, the technology isn't working, somebody's watched me and I haven't got any blue tack nearby. It can be very easy just to look frosty or frown. And, it's the old adage, like being able to show the children that you're there for learning for them, like open body language and smiling. It's the little things that kids pick up on because
absolutely.
teaching's about human relationships. Yeah,
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 personable and connection. It
yeah,
is absolutely true. It's connecting. That it go back to the comedians, and it's connecting with your audience, isn't it? And
yeah,
knowing just the right amount of time to wait to drop that punchline
yeah,
is about that relationship, isn't it? And
yeah,
that that's where we're up to with our classes as well. And the more you know them,
yeah,
the more you interact and have that go between. We're
yeah.
not robots at the front of the class just firing stuff out.
No,
Um,
no.
yeah,
And when it does become that, then actually we're less productive in the long run because we need them with us in a kind of a conducive relationship, so that we can symbiotically elevate learning. We're in this together.
I think,
Um,
Jane, I just had a little bit of a thigh rub then. I love the word symbiotic.
do you? Oh,
It's a
you
good
are.
one, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Symbiotic.
Listen, honey, don't get too don't
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 get too close to the camera, is what you want to say. As I leant forward to the microphone, then it was just like red forehead alert,
No,
sunburn, sunburn. Stop.
I wasn't going to say that. I was just going to say, don't get too horny about words. I think that's all I was going to say.
Both
Oh,
are true. Both are true. Have you?
but yeah, it's words for me. Honestly, I've got words. Do you know what? One of the words for me, it's a kind of simpler than symbiotic, but it just does it for me every time. Moonbeam. That's it's
Oh.
good, isn't it? That one. Anyway,
Mm.
talking about symbiosis, I want to uh, put center stage for Wonder of Words, this poem, and
Ooh.
this is a community event. This is the National Trust
Mm.
um, shouting to the whole of the UK, do you want to be in partnership with us to celebrate spring? And
Ooh.
400 participants took part,
Hmm.
and wrote spring poems. And it was about, and the theme was the arrival of spring. Now, these 400 poems were then, and all the participants, was handed to a lead poet called Elizabeth Jane Burnett. And she calculated all the responses and then weaved the responses. Right, let me explain this a little bit better. If let me explain this a bit better. If somebody mentioned blossom out of the
Okay.
400 participants, she counted that there were 51 blossoms. And
Yeah.
the 51 blossoms, the numerical amount, got weaved into this celebration of the 400. Okay, this is the poem. It's called Spring, an Inventory. 54 hopes in the hard wood held. Slow the hour brightens. Through damp roots and fused shoots, the pressure wells. 51 blossoms on the cherry swell. Tiny beech leaves ripen. 54 hopes in the hard wood hell. Slow the hour brightens. 54 trees in the waking woods. 51 spilling gardens. 55 cherry trees where the blackbird stood, and 35 joys through their gleaming broods. 38 buds nectar guarding in 44 trees in the waking woods, in 51 spilling gardens. 34 lights in the dark wood spots. 36 greens fizzily fruiting. 35 suns in the speckled moss. 3 daylights, 4 pink lights blush the docks. 22 bees new moving. 34 lights in the dark wood spots, and 36 fizzily fruiting. 28 songs sing 11 blackbirds. 23 mornings in chorus. 16 skies, 6 skylarks stir. 5 rains, 4 wrens, 2 herons surge. 4 bluebells, 2 horses. 28 songs sing 11 blackbirds. 23 mornings in chorus. 1 moon, 1 mouth, 1 sea, 1 star. Only 1 cuckoo, 1 car, 1 silence of engines and suddenly choirs in the grass, in the soil, on the branch. 400 notes singing out 1 bar. 400 lungs breathing 1 fresh start. 1 moon, 1 mouth, 1 sea, 1 star. Only 1 cuckoo, 1 car.
Wow. I love that. Very, very well performed as well, Jane.
It's community though, isn't it? I love that it is
Mm.
everybody who cares about nature coming together, and then it's turned outward again as one celebration poem. Hey, this is what teaching's all about, isn't it? Bringing people together with words. Heather, what have you got that you want to put up in lights?
Well, I do actually want to put it up in lights because I want to tell you about this magazine. Let's see if I can get it on the screen. I don't know if you've seen it, Word About Books, WRD. Um, and they kindly sent us some copies to put in our recent Reading Rocks teachers subscription boxes. Um, but I just kind of wanted to shout out about some of the wicked content in there. It's brilliant for creating a buzz about reading in your classroom or your library. It's full of, there's ones to watch, there are extracts, and there's kind of collections of Dragon Box unicorns in this spring edition, which I thought are really great if you want to, put some books out in collections in your library. What's the other one that I wanted to shout. Quick Fix Guide. So it's got loads of the current reads out and little short, sharp, pithy kind of guides to them that you could put up in the library. But in there, one of the said extracts was from one of our recent subscription box choices. Pretty sure you're going to be a fan of Christopher Edge's work, Jane.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and
Love
we've
him.
just had announced that his book, The Escape Room, which was a previous subscription box title, has hit the 100,000 books sold mark, and he's just got a deal for another. Sounds really good. Read with Nosy Crow, but the recent one is called The Black Hole Cinema Club. Now,
Yeah.
Jane, are you afraid of the dark?
No.
Good. You, if you read this book, you might be afterwards. No, and are you a bit of a film buff?
Yes, of
See,
course.
I think if you read this, that some I'm not a film geek. I love watching films, but I'm not one of those people who kind of remembers the names and what happened. It's kind of like I'm in the moment and the experience, and then it's gone.
Yes. Yeah,
But
yeah.
kind of film geeks will really pick up on all of those experiences in there. So for those who haven't picked up a copy and read it yet,
Mm,
there's a group of friends who go to the Black Hole Cinema Club for a bit of a Saturday binge afternoon of film after film after film.
mm,
And when they are there, it's very immersive and they go into the films and can they get out and solve them. So there's a little extract in the word, and this is the extract that I'm going to read. I've
mm,
never been afraid of the dark. In fact, it's the one place I always feel safe. I'm just going to skip a few paragraphs down. They're talking about memories of the dark. And then it says, the memory dissolves as I hear the rustle of a crisp packet directly to my right. Sounds like Finn's already breaking his promise to hold off on the snacks. Looking straight ahead, I can see the faint outline of the girls' heads at the bottom edge of my vision. But as I lift my gaze, the curtains part to reveal the screen. It's pitch black. For a second, I hold my breath, waiting for the first clue that will tell me exactly which film is kicking off this Black Hole Cinema Club. Some movies drop you straight into the action before the title sequence roll, while others start with a studio logo, like the flipping comic book pages that let you know you're about to watch a Marvel film. I can sense the presence of the others around me, all trying to do the same. We play this game every time, everyone trying to be the first to shout out the correct name of the film. But as I stare into the darkness, the cinema screen remains resolutely black. No studio logo, no opening credits, not even a hint of a soundtrack. Absolute silence fills the auditorium, and as this stretches out, I feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing to attention. Then I see the words appearing at the bottom of the screen, each line of white text shining bright against the dark. Everybody wants to be a star, to play the hero and save the world. But there are no more heroes left. Only you, and the end of the world is coming. Looks like another disaster movie, Ash says as these words scroll up the screen. I wonder how the world's going to end this time.
mm. Actually, that actually is a bit scary. Actually,
It
I
is a
wasn't
bit
scared.
scary, and it's very fast paced, and it has you right to the end wondering how these kids are going to come to some sense of resolution. He's a cracking writer, Christopher Edge.
Yeah,
So and I can
yeah,
see that you could in the classroom be thinking which films would children like to jump into, and they could do some of their own writing
yeah, yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah, yeah. Christopher Edge is featured on our reading unit plans as well. So yeah, we're delighted about that. Um, And just quickly, kind of going to the other end of the scale with kind of getting children excited about reading and writing. I'm going to be in Manchester soon, and it's been ages since I've been in Manchester. You know, I've got to
Manchester.
Manchester. I'm going to go and twist somebody's melon up there. You know, I'm going to do lots of thinking. I'm there on the 13th of May, but we're going to be talking about the little adorable cutie pies. Yeah, you know, your 4-year-olds. We're gonna, you're trying to teach reception, and we've got to make sure we don't switch them off from writing. We've got to build their confidence. We want the main core message that we're driving to meaning. And yes, we care about phonics, but we've got to understand the 9 stages of emergent writing. We've got to celebrate all their efforts to communicate, and we want to make sure we build their self-esteem. And what's the best way to do it when they're just like wriggling around and they might get bored very quickly and stab you with a pencil. So yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. So
Oh,
excited.
can I jump in then? In May, we've got loads of virtual author events. And at the moment, if you visit our website, where readingrocks.com, a little pop-up will appear and you get your chance to nab a free credit to join one of our awesome virtual events. And then sneak peek in June, we have plans, big plans, Jane, for a
Ooh.
big author week. It's going to be a
Ooh.
whole week of author events that everybody can join for free, and it's going to be fan flipping tastic. So
Oh, I
make
love a
sure
bit of
you
that.
have got your eyes open.
Yes. If you want a badge because you've listened and you want to wear it with pride, I want to shout out about our email, which is Jane or Heather at the Teacher Squad podcast.com. But you've got to prove that you've been listening. Not everyone can have one of these badges. They are
Exclusive.
they are rarer than Blue Peter ones, and there is a bit of double love if we catch you on our travels wearing them. I know. Yeah, it's so exciting. We might just actually give you a
Yeah,
big
and can I
fat
clarify
hug.
on the episode where I talked about people wearing badges on their LAN yard? I am that geek that re-listens to their own podcast just to check that I haven't sounded like a nutter, and I
Yeah.
did. I said land yard. What's a land yard?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't care, babe. It sounds
So
good to me.
I do understand, because some people go, oh, they're saying that word wrong,
Yeah.
but it's a
She's been a
lanyard, and I know that.
She knows that. She's not a twat. She knows. It's okay. Right. Heather, always a pleasure. It's nice to do something that isn't so heavy like the Ofsted framework. But if you've not listened to it, rewind and listen to that, because we've got to do things that are a bit heavy sometimes. That's life. This has been nice and gentle. It's always gorgeous because you put a smile on my face, Heather. But I'm
Ah.
gonna say it is big love from Heather.
And Heartbursts from Jane. See you all next time, everybody. Bye.